Shalom. Shalom, shalom. All praise to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I'm going to double back on something, because actually one of the Aquatiums, one of the sisters brought it to my attention. So, all praise to the Most High for that. Right here, you see on the screen right here, you got Zeus. So if y'all listen to the last thing, when I was talking about the Olympics, everybody done saw the Satanic Olympic opening ceremonies, right? Well, and notice, for those who were listening, like the sister caught this. I'm glad she caught it, so I got to strike while the iron's hot, as they say, right? So I'm gonna go back into it. I brought up Zeus and what Jesus means. Like, it means Zeus. So when you say Jesus, you're saying hail Zeus in the ancient language, right? And I brought up in Revelations how the Lord's real name is Yahushua, how he told us who Satan was. He gave us his name. He gave us his children, meaning the nation of people, right? The Edomites, etc., right? This is what you was looking at during the Olympics. So my point is, and everybody seen that horse, etc., right? And there's a bunch of other things I said, but I'm gonna stay on topic. I just want this to be in and out. Okay, I want to show y'all this. Okay, so we all know everybody saw that horse. I brought up Revelation chapter 6, and so did other Hebrews as well. So pay attention to this. This also going to remind you of Daniel chapter 7, but that's not where I want to go right now. Pay attention to this. Let me play it. See, it's called Zeus. Watch this. Pay attention to this. Pay attention to the iron, the clay, everything that they're using. Okay, matter of fact, I'm going to rewind it because I want y'all to see the name of the horse. His name was Zeus. Remember I brought that up. That's why the Olympics is Satanic worship. It's all Satan worship. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get back into it. Salakia. Right? His name was Zeus. Okay, y'all see that? Zeus. All right, so I'm gonna pause it right there for a second because I really want to just go right into the scriptures of it. Okay, so every time the Lord Yahushua opened his mouth, he spake in a parable, meaning you got to go to the Israelite men to get the understanding. Right? It is what it is. You can't go to no Roman Catholic Christian pastor. No, you have to come directly to us. But what does Satan do? What did he do in Revelation? I think that's 12 and 9, right? Right there. Revelation 12 and 9, right? And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, right? Which deceiveth the whole world. He deceiveth the whole world. So if you got to go to these Israelite men and he's deceived the whole world into most people, whether if you're in corporate America or a corporate job in the UK or Italy or whatever, they shun especially black Hebrew men. That's why it's not a lot of us in corporate America. They shun, they think we're dumb, stupid, etc. Now I've been in boardrooms where I'm the only black person and it's 200 of us. I'm the only black male there. It's black women there, but if it is other black males there, he's sodomized. They don't like the what they call today masculinity. I don't know where they get toxic from, but my point is he's deceived the whole world. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to Revelations 2, right? And we're gonna break this down, right? We're gonna start right here at we're gonna go right to 12. And this is how we gotta break it down. Okay, so you saw the name of the horse that horseman was riding on. Let me go to it, right? When we went to Revelation 6, okay? The name of that horse, right? Let me get to it. Where was we at? The name of that horse that horseman was riding on, right there, verse 8, right? And Revelation 6 and 8, And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, right? And his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed him. Okay? But the name of that horse was what? Zeus. The name of the horse itself was Satan. That's what they're showing us, showing you. They're mocking the Hebrew culture, the scriptures, because they know the average person, even Christians, they're not going to catch this. Why? Because they still pray to Satan himself. So it don't matter. They still praying to Zeus. You can have all these Edomites point out stuff. Oh, look, it's the Last Supper, and they're doing this, and it's the I brought up the Holly Groves of Diana. Well, it's called Dionysus, but I'm speaking in English because we can't speak in the ancient language unless there's people there to translate. So we speak so people can understand in parables, right? Look at Revelations 2. We're going to go down to verse 12. I'm going to get straight to it, right? Revelations 2 and 12. And to the angel of the church in Pergamos, when we're reading, it's daily bread. What do you tell your child? Slow down and chew your food. So right there, we should stop and say, hold on. He ain't talking about the church. They inserted the word church, right? They inserted the word. The Hebrews, we didn't gather in churches, what they call churches today. The Edomites inserted that word church during the Renaissance period, during the rebirth of the Edomite Empire. But my point is, right there when it says Pergamos, we should stop. But I'm going to keep going and we're going to go back to it. Write these things. Said he had the sharp sword with two edges. 13, I know thy works and where thou dwellest, right? Even where Satan's seat is. Just like if you get into it with somebody, you have an argument, they say, pull up. Like, girl, I know where you live. I know where your cousin live. I know where your mom and them live. Meaning, you know where they dwell and you know they family. Meaning, I know who your people are too, right? And thou holdest fast my name, even hast denied my faith, even in the days where Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you where Satan dwelleth. The Lord Yahushua, notice this is in red letters. I left it unhighlighted for a reason. It's in red letters. He gave us a gem of all gems. He didn't tell us, the winning lottery numbers, the Kansas City Chiefs was going to win the Super Bowl a few years in a row. No, he gave us, if we were able to understand it, where Satan lived, where he dwelled, and who are his people. Not only that, he gave us his name. Oh, well, it's Satan. No. He has a name. And we all have a name. Like when people say, well, God, this, God. Well, God is just a title. God is like mom and dad. Mom and dad is a title, right? But your mom and dad got a name. Now, you don't call them by that name, but if your child walk in and they call you by your first name, it's like, whoa, hold on. What's up? That means business. So what we should do is go back up to verse 12 and say, hold on. We just read in 13 and et cetera, that, wait, we know his name. We know where he live. What is he saying? We should instantly stop and you should Google Pergamos, right? I did the work for you because most people don't do the work because this is an old post I've done probably 9 years ago, right? You see it says the Pergamian altar. So let's go back to the top. See that? Message to the Pergamian, right? You go back. Now, during this time, this was Rome, Greece. This was all the Edomites. On this altar is the God that they was worshiping. This the God that the Edomites were serving. Remember, at this time, Yahushua, right, the Lord, in Revelation, he already, what they say, died and came back. We were under the Roman captivity. We were already at war with these people. He let, John and other disciples know, look, that's the devil. These people are the devil. We were in Rome. We had good jobs. Like we in Rome again now. America is Rome revitalized. You probably have a good job. You in corporate America. You doing all this stuff. And then the Lord and us disciples and us prophets, we like, yo, bro, like, no, bro, these people are the devil. I know it's cool. And you see me, it's all cool. You going to your football games on Friday and Saturday, drinking beer, y'all toasting. Boy, they the seed of the devil, and that's who they serve. Y'all over here praying and worshiping to Zeus, to Jesus. That's the devil. This is not the God of your fathers. You're Hebrew. They're Greek. They're Roman. They're Edomite. They're Amalekites. They're Amalek. You are not. All right? So if you pulled up that altar, I'm going to just read a little bit of it, right? Look, even AI knows this, right? The Pergamian altar of what? Zeus is a marble altar, right? That's the centerpiece of the Pergamum Museum in Berlin, Germany. Yes, they even rebuilt this altar, right? It was built in the second half of the 2nd century BCE in the ancient Greek city of Pergamum. Look at that. See, this is the gem that the Lord Yahweh was giving us. He said, I know where his seat is. I know who his people is. And I know your name. You ain't fooling me. I know who you are. All the Edomites back then was worshiping Diana and Zeus and Hercules and all of that. The name Jesus is not a translation from the name Yahweh. I got several posts on that. Y'all click on it. Yeah, because it's going to go on Instagram. I got several posts on there. Y'all click. Look, some of them even pinned to the top. That's Satan's. That's what they've done. So when you see the name Jesus, Zeus in the scriptures, they took the name Yahweh out and put that name in. The letter J did not exist until 500 years ago this month. It did not exist. The letter J. So Jesus, no, it did not exist nowhere. It didn't exist on the planet until 500 years ago. Didn't the Hebrew slaves, us, didn't we also go into slavery 500 years ago in the 1400s? Yes. So they started removing and editing our scriptures, right? I'm going to read some more of that, right? I'm going to skip down a little bit, right? It says, the altar was likely used for sacrifices such as burning, right, the thighs of sacrificial animals or offering incense, wine, or fruit, etc. So during that time, remember they was burning animals, etc. I just covered that. Matter of fact, let's get that. I want to go back to the other study I did on the Olympics, right? Remember, they were bringing forbidden animals into our temple in Jerusalem, because like today, many so-called, black people, black Christians, in the black church, we want to mix in Zeus, and a lot of people now, even people who know us, they know, well, I know we're the Hebrew people, but they still go into the church and they pray to Zeus, and they trying to mix it in and thinking they praying to the Most High, but they not. They dealing with Satan, right? So remember what we just read, that AI even knows that back in Greece, this the Maccabees right here, right? This is the King James Version 1611 Bible, full Bible, which is what you should have, right? Look at verse 4. For the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, by the Grecians, by the heathens, by the Edomites, by your cool co-worker, right? Who dallied with harlots and had to do with women in the circuit of the holy places. And besides that, they brought in things that were not lawful. The altar was also filled with profane things which the law forbided, right? Or forbid it, right? I forbid you, Jeffrey. That's what it means. Y'all could read the rest of it. I mean, y'all see it, right? Neither was it lawful for a man to keep the Sabbath days, ancient feasts, or profess himself to be a Hebrew at all, right? And here's what's something that's important. In the day of the king's birth every month, I ain't covering birthdays, but we don't do that. They were brought by bitter constraint. They were forced to eat of the sacrifices, those pigs they did on the altar, as we just read. And when the fast of Bacchus was kept, I'm going to pause right there. Okay? Remember that name. Let me just go right back to it. Right? I want people to see this. Okay? Okay, look at this. Right? Now, this goes into the rest of Revelations. Okay? It says the ancient origins of Christmas customs. During the 2nd century BC, see that? BC and BCE is the same thing. Hold on, I'm going to show y'all something. Right? I'm going to go back to this AI one, Salakia. See that right after it's highlighted at the top? It was built in the second half of the 2nd century BC. Stay with me, right? This is all in the scriptures. Let me go back. Okay, you see that? During the 2nd century BC, the Greeks, we know who the Greeks are. They teach you this in your school. Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar. Who are they? Well, they're the Greeks. Man, they Edomites. They the so-called, what you would call Caucasian or white people today. That's them. Call a spade a spade. They won't let you say that you a Hebrew person. That's your nationality. You're not black. That's a color. It's not a race, ethnicity, landmass, nationality. You're not African American. That's two separate continents. I got a passport. Somebody show me where African America is. They've created all these little languages to keep us deceived. So I'm going to keep reading. During the 2nd century BC, the Greeks practiced rites to honor their god. See, it says Dionysus. Now, remember during my study, I said Diana. This is what you were seeing during that ritual of the Olympics when they were all on the table and they had the man like a Smurf and they had the Last Supper laid out. But it was also, they had orgies and stuff. This goes back to Saturnalia. The Romans, the Grecians got this and the worship, well, not the worship of Zeus because they always worship Satan, but they got all this and they just changed the names of it because they know the average person really only knows one language. They don't go back into languages like the Israelites do. Most of us know at least 2 to 3. We know 2 at least, English and the ancient. But a lot of them know 3 or 4 languages. So we understand this stuff. The Latin name for this celebration, right, was Bacchanalia. This goes back to Saturnalia. This goes all the way back to ancient Babylon, right? It was on or about December 21st that the ancient Greece celebrated, which are known to be the same thing, festivities, honor, and see, when I'm going to zoom in, hopefully y'all can see that, in honor of Bacchus. You see that? The god of wine. That's why on that table, okay? That's why on that table at the Olympic ceremony, you saw a whole bunch of what? You saw wine and a lady looking like the Chaldean goddess, like a heavyset Chaldean goddess, was doing a heart symbol. That's for child lover, boy lover, right? That's what that means. Okay. So matter of fact, let me get back into this. So notice it brought up. So like, let me get back to where I want to go. It brought up Christmas, if you will, because notice it brought up December, etc. It said that's what they was doing. Here's why this is important. Like the Lord gave us so many gems. I'm telling you, like if you listen to this, you better find a righteous Israelite brother and you better start hearing, because the Most High never used the words listen to us. He used hear. So look, verse 12, 13, 14, right? We just covered that, went over Satan's name and his people. It's the Edomites, it's the Grecians. They are called devils all throughout the scriptures. They were prophesied that they would change the word here in the end times, and they did, right? So here's why that's important, why I just read that stuff in the AI, and I just showed that altar in Pergamos. Matter of fact, let me show you the altar before I go to the next part. Let me show you this altar. This is the altar.
Is a story that was really important to the Greeks. It was really a set of symbols that spoke of the Greeks' fear, but also optimism that they could overcome chaos.
So this battle is really a metaphor for the victory of Greek culture over the unknown, over the chaotic forces of nature.
Right, and also represents their military victories over cultures that they didn't understand and that they feared. So let's walk up the stairs of the great altar into the most sacred part of the altar, where the fire, presumably to Zeus, would have been lit and where sacrifices might have been offered. You had mentioned earlier that the figures seem to almost spill out away from the wall, and I think that's most clearly seen as we walk up the stairs. There are moments when the figures that are carved in this high relief actually rest their knee on the stairs, actually literally enter our space. For instance, one of the sea nymphs, whose legs actually end in the tail of a great serpent, coils her tail.
Whose tail actually ends, whose legs actually ends in the tail of a great serpent. So that serpent was connected to an Edomite, to the Grecians, to the Romans. The Grecians and Romans are the same people. They're your Americans, they're your UK people, your Frenchmen, look, it's the same eagle, the same bird, just different wings. They're the same people. Okay? Now notice he said you could go visit this altar today. Today, you can go visit this in Germany. This is some of the stuff off topic that Putin was bringing out. He was like, yo, why does the whole world mad at me and NATO? Why aren't you mad at the Americans? He said they have the children of Israel in their possession. That's what he said. And he showed the pictures, right, of what they call Black Christ, Black Mary. Then he showed the Levites in the Russian catacombs. He showed that they were all Negro. He pulled that out and said, look at these artifacts. Look at this. He said, they got them over there in the captivity, but y'all mad at me. That's what he was saying. So point is, In this video, they just said that they were worshiping and burning sacrifices and stuff to Zeus. Y'all just heard it, to Zeus. That's the altar in Pergamos. Let me go back so y'all can see this. I'm gonna scroll up right here. See, this is how you know this is the same thing that I was just showing y'all. You could go here today, but now you want to travel and go for leisure and go to Belize and turn up, right? Go to Dubai so you could thought out. No, this Most High says like you're supposed to travel to gain knowledge. That's what the scriptures say. So look at this, right? You got the Baphomet symbol with Zeus right up under it. Look at this, and I'm gonna read this. The altar was discovered in 1878 and gifted to Kaiser Wilhelm II, the last king emperor of Prussia. So, in other words, you can still go there today. In 1878, they went to go find this altar because that's who they serve. This is why you go to every single continent. Go to Mexico, right? Go to Brazil, right? Or every single continent and or country, right? Because you go South America, say Africa, they've plastered the white Edomite image of Yahushua, of the Lord, of Christ, if you will, right? Which I'm saying it because y'all, that's how the world refers to him, as Christ. That's not it. We shouldn't even use that word, but I'm doing this so people can understand, right? We shouldn't even have that image. That's who they serve, right? So I just want to show the altar of Pergamos. Let me go back because there's a lot of meat in here. I'm trying to slow it down, right? Back to Revelation chapter 2, verse 12, 13, 14, right? Cool. Right, no, verse 12 and 13. That covered Satan's name and who he dwelled with and who his people, right? Verse 14. This is why when we just read that little excerpt from a passage, right? It was talking about Saturnalia, right? It was talking about, let me just go to it because I don't want to roughly paraphrase, right? Bacchanalia, right, which is really Saturnalia, right? You see, this says the ancient origins of Christmas customs. Here's why that's important, right? And remember who their god is, right? Bacchus, and we just read that. I'm just going back so people can understand. Look at verse 14. The Lord Yahushua gave us game. He said, these are Satan, these are his people, and this is what they're going to be doing. This is what he's saying. Verse 14. But I have a few things against thee. So he calling them out like, bro, I got several things against y'all, but I'm going to just name a few. Because thou hast there them that hold the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, not before the world, before us, for the Hebrew people. So if we know anything about Balaam, Balak, I think that's Numbers chapter 23 all the way through like chapter 29 or something like that. These are all the spells, the rituals, the witchcraft, the warlocking, the necromancy, the charming. This is everything that they're doing, to everything you just watched at the Olympics and that they have done in the schools, on TV, right? That's why they call it broadcasting. They're casting spells. It's talking about the Edomites. He's saying, I got a few things against y'all because not only are y'all serving Satan and worshiping Zeus, because remember, the earth is given to the wicked. The Edomites run the world right now. They're doing wickedness. He's saying, you have the doctrine, meaning their ways, their customs. You went back way back into Egypt and way back before. And you went in there, you got all them spells and them rituals and them enchantments, like Disney. Enchantment, it's magical. And you putting it all on TV. You went back and got all this stuff and it's casting a stumbling block before my children. That's what he's saying. It's the children of Israel. It's us. Why? Now he's finna go into it, right? To eat things sacrificed unto idols and to commit fornication. We just covered that. Go back and read Maccabees, 2 Maccabees chapter 4 through chapter 6. That's the stumbling block. That's part of it. Now you say you can eat what you want. They can eat pork and eat swine, right? And to commit fornication, that's physically and spiritually. Because now they're not serving the Most High Yahweh. That's what you call God's name. Nor the son Yahushua. Now they serving Zeus, so they committing fornication. And not only that, physical and spiritual adultery. Also, verse 15, because he's getting into Christmas, he's also telling us that these same people going to have us doing that, and they going to have you worshiping Christmas. He's giving game to the disciples, and they like, what you talking about, bro? We right here. We got our temple still. No. That's why I kept saying, you got to remember in the regeneration, meaning now, he said in the end times, y'all gonna have to remember. So we are revitalized. We are them. This is all in the scriptures, right? But they can't touch on this stuff, right? Look at verse 15. So hast thou also, so he naming out, they're going to serve Satan. These are his people. They're going to be doing all these rituals and spells and this and this. Verse 15, they also, them that hold the doctrine of the Nicolaitans, which thing I hate. They say the Lord don't hate. He names out several things that he hates. So if you're doing these things, yes, that people, well, he hate the sin. He hate the sin, not the sinner. No, the scriptures say he hate both. Because if you're doing it, you just like them. Period. It doesn't matter. That don't make sense. Well, the Lord, he don't hate the snake. He just hates the venom. Nah, bro. He don't deal with the whole snake. Cast it away. That's how this works, right? So we should also pause. Now we know about Pergamos. We should pause right there at Nicolaitans, because that's talking about Saturnalia. That's talking about Bacchanalia, what we just read. Old Saint Nick. That comes from the Nicolaitans. Nicholas, old Saint Nick, he was the Santa Claus image you got. This is where it comes from. Matter of fact, let's get into it. Let me go right into that. Right? So if we go up, we go into, right? And this is why a bunch of old school Edomites, their name is also Nicholas or Nikolai, etc. This is where that comes from, right? Right, look at this. Look, Nicolaitans, destruction of people. Why? Because they were serving Satan too, but this is where Christmas comes from. In the United States, nobody before, I think it was 1890, nobody celebrated Christmas. It was banned. It was outlawed for being a pagan holiday. Now the whole world does it. So y'all see that, right? Look at that. I just stated that. Look at that. Nikolai, right? An adherent of Nicholas, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to get into something else. Look, right there. Look, right here in the middle, right here, right? It says, after the example of Balaam casting a stumbling block before the church of Yahweh. Now, pay attention, Christians. It says before the church of God. Well, the church, the Lord is coming back to get the church. The church is the Hebrew people. It's the Israelites. Religion got people thinking it's the church. See, watch this. It says casting a stumbling block before the church of God. Watch this. Numbers 24. I just brought that up, right? Look at this. Let's read who the church of God is. Not what your religion says. And when Balaam saw that it pleased Yahweh to bless Israel, that's why it's tagged right there, because it's letting you know this is the church of God. Israel is the church of God. He went not, right? As at other times to seek for enchantments, but he set his face toward the wilderness, right? And Balaam lifted up his eyes and saw Israel. It didn't say the church and the name of your church, a Hillsong or Joel Osteen's something Baptist church. No, it's the Hebrew people. We are the church. Like right now, you probably learning more than however long this is, 15, 20 minutes, than you've probably learned in 15 years of church. All right. So with that being said, I just wanted to go back to the dude riding on the horse. That horse was Zeus. Okay. That was Satan. That horse was Zeus. So if we understand this message to the Pergamium, right? We understand this. We go back, altar Pergamos. Cool. Who was they worshiping? Who was they serving there? They were serving Satan, right? Just like
is a story that was really important to the Greeks. It was really a set of symbols that spoke of the Greeks' fear, but also optimism that they could overcome chaos.
So this battle is really a metaphor for the victory of Greek culture over the unknown, over the chaotic forces of nature.
Right, and also represents their military victories over cultures that they didn't understand and that they feared. So let's walk up the stairs of the great altar into the most sacred part of the altar, where the fire, presumably to Zeus, would have been lit, and where sacrifice
to Zeus. So with that, hopefully you guys have been edified. Shalom.